My bachelorette party is a week-long Vegas trip with my male best friend. Deal with it. I stared at her across the table, fork frozen halfway to my mouth. Have fun, I said evenly. Her face lit up like she'd just won some unspoken argument. See, that wasn't so hard. But inside, I was already done. My name's Ryan. I'm 29 and 6 months away from marrying Emily, or at least I was until that night. We'd spent the last few weeks buried in wedding plans. The venue booked, catering selected, invitations nearly ready to send. Everything felt set, and then, out of nowhere, she dropped a bomb that made me question everything. It happened at dinner. A quiet evening at our favorite Italian place. We were going over details, arguing about flower arrangements, laughing about seating charts. The night felt normal, comfortable, until she leaned back in her chair, casual as anything, and said, "Oh, by the way, I've decided on Vegas for my bachelorette trip." I blinked. Vegas? That sounds fun. Who's going? Just me and Tyler, she said, stabbing her fork into her pasta. I put mine down. Tyler? Yeah, she said, like I should have known. My best friend, you know him. Your straight male best friend? Emily rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might get stuck. Don't start, he's basically like my brother. Your brother, I repeated slowly. And you're planning a week-long bachelorette party in Vegas with just him? Yes, she snapped. Do you hear yourself? You sound insane. I sat there stunned. I knew Tyler. We'd met a few times. They went way back. College, late-night study sessions, spring break trips. Always insisting they were just friends. And maybe they were. But a week alone in Vegas? For a bachelorette party? That's not really how bachelorette parties work, I said carefully. Says who? She shot back. It's my party. I'll celebrate however I want. This isn't about the party, I said, forcing my voice steady. It's about respect, about boundaries. Boundaries? She scoffed. Ryan, you have female friends. I trust you with them. Why can't you trust me? Because I wouldn't plan a week-long bachelor party alone with just one woman, I said. Especially not in Vegas. Especially not right before our wedding. She actually laughed. That's different. How? I asked. Because I trust you, she said, her voice sharp now. Clearly, you don't trust me. This isn't about trust, I repeated, my patience fraying. It's about what's appropriate. How would you feel if I did the same thing? Her face hardened. I wouldn't care. Really. Silence stretched between us, heavy and awkward. She leaned back, arms crossed, daring me to argue. I'm going on this trip, she said finally. It's already booked. Tyler's taking time off work. If you can't handle it, she shrugged. Deal with it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So my choices are to accept it or, what, call off the wedding? She didn't flinch. If that's what you want. Something in me cracked right then. Not anger. Not heartbreak. Just clarity. All right, I said quietly. Have fun on your trip. Her smile was instant, victorious. See? Was that so hard? I smiled back. Not at all. But as we drove home, her hand resting casually on my thigh, my mind was already elsewhere. Not on the wedding, not on the trip, on something bigger. Because in that moment, I wasn't debating whether to marry her. That decision had already been made. I just hadn't said it out loud yet. The only thing left to figure out was how I wanted to end it. That night, I didn't sleep. Emily curled up beside me like nothing had happened, scrolling through Pinterest boards for wedding centerpieces while I stared at the ceiling, replaying every word of our dinner conversation. It wasn't the trip that broke me. It wasn't even Tyler. It was the way she dismissed me, like my feelings were a speed bump on her road to Vegas. By sunrise, I wasn't angry anymore. I was resolved. I could have just ended it, canceled the venue, called off the caterers, boxed up the ring. But part of me wanted her to see it, to feel it, to understand exactly how hypocritical she'd been. And I knew exactly how to do it. The next morning, I made my first call. Hey Tyler, I said when he picked up. Oh Ryan, what's up? Heard about Vegas? Yeah, Emily mentioned it. Sounds fun. Totally fun, he said, too casual. We've been planning it forever. Right, I said evenly. Listen, quick question. Is Lauren still single? There was a beat of silence on the line. Lauren? My ex, Lauren? Yeah, haven't seen her in years. Thought about inviting her to my bachelor party. What? His voice cracked. Why would you? She's a friend, I said smoothly. Practically like a sister to me. You wouldn't have a problem with that, right? That's different. How? I pressed. Emily's your friend, Lauren's mine. Because Lauren and I have history, he snapped. You and Emily have history too, I shot back. All those late-night study sessions, spring break in Cancun. Nothing happened on that trip, he cut in quickly. Sure, I said, smiling to myself, just like nothing will happen with me and Lauren. Tyler went quiet. Does Emily know you're inviting her? Not yet, I said. Wanted to check with you first. Friend to friend. I don't think that's a good idea, man, he muttered. Why not? If we're all adults, what's the problem? Silence. Then, I gotta go. Click. I leaned back in my chair. Grinning, the seed was planted. My next call was to Lauren. She answered on the second ring. Ryan? Wow, long time no talk. What's going on? This is gonna sound weird, I said, and launched into the whole story. Emily's Vegas trip, Tyler's involvement, the hypocrisy of it all. By the time I finished, she was laughing so hard I had to hold the phone away from my ear. Wait, she gasped between laughs. She's going on a bachelorette trip with her male best friend, alone? And you're the insecure one? Apparently, I said dryly. Oh, I am so in, she said instantly. What's the plan? Over the next few days, I put everything into motion. Step 1, create a group chat for my bachelor party. I added a bunch of my closest friends, and Lauren. Step 2, drop hints. Bachelor party same week as Emily's. Thinking cabin by the lake, way more chill than Vegas. Lauren's being a lifesaver and driving us out there. The reactions came quick. Bro, that sounds sick. Been forever since the lake trip. Lauren, you're a legend. She played along perfectly. Anything for the groom-to-be. Step 3, social media. I posted just enough, not obvious, not gloating, just excited about epic bachelor party vibes and amazing friends. Pictures of the lake. Inside jokes about road trips. Lauren tagged in a couple posts. It didn't take long for Tyler to bite. 2 days later, my phone buzzed. Tyler. Dude, we need to talk. What's up? Tyler, this thing with Lauren, it's not cool. What thing? She's just coming to my bachelor party. Lots of people are. You know what you're doing? Having a party with friends? Guilty. It's inappropriate. Me. Foul. You know how. Tyler. He never spelled it out. He didn't have to. The hypocrisy was eating him alive. The real explosion came when Emily found out. She came home from work, slamming the door so hard the walls rattled. Lauren? Really? She shouted before I could even stand up. What about her? I asked calmly. You invited her to your bachelor party? Yeah, I said, feigning innocence. She's a friend. Problem? Don't play dumb, Ryan. You did this to get back at me. Get back at you for what? I asked, tilting my head. I thought we were cool with opposite-sex friends. That's what you said, right? Her mouth opened and closed like a fish. This is different. How? She's Tyler's ex, and Tyler's your best friend, I said. You broke that rule first. Emily's face went red. You're being petty. I'm following your rules, I said quietly. Equal rules for both of us. She didn't answer. She just grabbed her keys and stormed out. As the door slammed shut, I smiled to myself. Round 1, complete. 2 days after Emily's meltdown, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. First came the text from Tyler. Tyler, we need to talk. About what? Lauren, you know this isn't cool. She's just a friend. You said the same about Emily. Don't play games with me, Ryan, I smiled to myself. The hypocrisy was starting to show. That evening, Emily stormed into my apartment with Tyler trailing behind her like a guilty shadow. Her face was flushed red, her hands clenched tight at her sides. We're talking about this now, she barked the second she crossed the threshold. Great, I said calmly, pouring 3 glasses of water, but only setting 2 on the table. Have a seat. Emily didn't sit. She stood over me, trembling with anger. You think you're clever, huh? Inviting Lauren just to get under my skin? To get under your skin? I raised an eyebrow. I'm doing the exact same thing you're doing, going on a trip with a friend of the opposite sex. That's not a problem, right? This is different, she shouted. Different how? I leaned back in my chair. Because she's Tyler's ex and Tyler's your best friend? Don't twist this, Tyler cut in, voice tight. Lauren and I have history. Right, I said coolly. And you and Emily have history too. All those late-night study sessions, Cancun, ring a bell? We never did anything. Emily yelled, slamming her palm on the table. Great, I said softly. Neither did Lauren and I. The room went silent. Emily glared at me, eyes wide with anger and confusion. Tyler stared at the floor like he wished he were anywhere else. You're manipulating this whole situation, Emily spat. No, I said evenly. I'm holding up a mirror. The same rules you want for yourself? I get them too. If that makes you uncomfortable, maybe the rules were never fair to begin with. You're being petty. Petty? I let out a dry laugh. When I raised concerns, I was controlling. When I set the same boundary you set, I'm petty. Interesting logic. Emily's fists tightened. If you go on this trip with her, this wedding is over. I looked straight into her eyes. Emily, this wedding's been over since the moment you said, deal with it. She froze. Tyler's head snapped toward me, face pale. What did you just say? Emily whispered. I pulled out my phone, opened my email, and turned the screen toward them. Confirmations for canceled deposits, the venue, the caterer, the band, all gone. I've already called it off, I said calmly. You can keep the ring. Consider it a parting gift. Her face went white. You're serious? You're ending 3 years over one trip? No, I said slowly. I'm ending 3 years because you showed me exactly how much my feelings mean to you, which is nothing. Emily's voice cracked. I'll cancel the trip. We can fix this. You'll cancel it, I interrupted. Not because you realize it was wrong, but because you're facing consequences. That's not the same thing. She went silent. Tyler didn't say a word either. The conversation ended with nothing but tension hanging in the air. Emily stormed out, slamming the door so hard the frame rattled. Tyler lingered for a moment, like he wanted to speak, then just shook his head and followed her out. When the door finally shut, I sank into the couch and let out the deepest breath I'd taken in months. No anger, no heartbreak, just relief. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. If I thought ending the wedding would bring peace, I was wrong. That night was only the beginning of Emily's spiral. The next morning, I woke up to 30 missed calls, a dozen voicemails, and a flood of texts ranging from desperate apologies to furious insults. Emily, you can't just throw away 3 years like this. I'll cancel the trip. Please, Ryan. You're pathetic. I hope Lauren cheats on you. Call me back. We can fix this. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. By noon, she escalated. She showed up at my office parking lot, pacing near the entrance with tears streaking her face. When I walked out to grab lunch, she followed me to my car. Ryan, just talk to me, she shouted. I kept my voice calm. Emily, this isn't the place. This is insane. You're really ending it over one trip? Stop saying it's about the trip, I said quietly. It's about respect, and you don't have any for me. Her lip trembled, rage overtaking sorrow. Fine, you'll regret this. She left, screeching out of the lot. The following week was chaos. First came the anger, blowing up my phone, telling mutual friends I was a controlling psycho, posting cryptic quotes on Instagram about escaping narcissists. Then came bargaining, promises of therapy, canceling Vegas, swearing she'd change. Finally, when that didn't work, came the theatrics. I caught her car parked outside my apartment more than once. Sometimes she'd sit there for hours, engine idling, waiting for me to come out. Other times, she'd leave handwritten notes on my windshield. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. I forgive you. We can still fix this. If you loved me, you'd fight for me. I ignored them all. Then she tried a new tactic, dragging Tyler into it. He texted me one night, Tyler, look, maybe we all said things we didn't mean. Let's talk. There's nothing left to talk about. Emily's a wreck. She needs closure. Closure isn't my responsibility anymore. An hour later, I heard pounding on my front door. I checked the peephole. Tyler, fist raised, jaw tight. I opened it a crack. What you want? You humiliated her, he snapped. She's out there losing her mind and you're just fine? I'm fine, I said evenly, because I got out before it got worse. You think you're some hero? No, I said. I think I dodged a bullet. His face hardened. You know she loved you. She loved control, I corrected. She loved winning arguments. She didn't love me. Tyler didn't respond. He just glared, muttered something under his breath, and walked off. 2 weeks later, I filed for a restraining order. It wasn't one thing. It was everything. The parking lot ambushes, the late-night calls, the notes, the unannounced visits to my gym. She even applied for a job at my company in a different department, probably just to keep tabs on me. HR flagged it instantly. The judge didn't hesitate. He read the texts, the police reports, the screenshots, the statements from friends who'd seen her meltdowns. Ma'am, he said flatly, you broke up with him. Everything after that is harassment. 500 feet. No calls, no messages, no exceptions. You'd think that would have stopped her. It didn't. Emily tried working around the order, contacting me through mutual friends, sending emails from fake accounts, even having her mom call me just to check in. Every attempt was documented. Every attempt was ignored. Eventually, the silence became permanent. When it finally ended, the relief was almost physical. Like taking off a weighted vest I didn't realize I'd been wearing. The wedding deposits cost me $8,000. Worth every penny. For the first time in months, my life felt mine again. No games, no tests, just quiet. The restraining order changed everything, not just legally, emotionally. For the first time in months, I had space to breathe. Emily's presence faded slowly, like a storm finally moving off the horizon. Sure, there were the occasional flare-ups, burner accounts trying to follow me on Instagram, messages relayed through mutual friends, but I ignored them all. Documentation, silence, peace, and then nothing. Word got back to me through mutual friends. Emily and Tyler started dating about a month after the breakup. No surprise there. They swore it just happened, that nothing occurred while we were together. I didn't bother arguing. Let people believe what they want. Funny enough, the Vegas trip that caused all this drama, it never even happened. Tyler suddenly couldn't get the time off work, and they canceled. Turns out the trip wasn't as important as they made it sound once there were actual consequences on the line. 3 months later, my life looked completely different. I dove into work, got a promotion, hit the gym hard, put on 10 pounds of muscle, cleaned out my apartment, replacing all the Pinterest core clutter Emily loved with things that actually felt like me. For the first time in a long time, I liked my space. It felt adult, real, mine. I even started dating again, casually. No rush, just coffee here and there, a drink after work. And every time I met someone new, I caught myself paying closer attention, not to their looks or hobbies, but to how they handled boundaries. Respect, the little things I'd overlooked before. The real closure came from the smallest moment. I ran into Emily's mom at the grocery store one Saturday morning. She spotted me near the produce section, hesitated, then walked over. "Ryan," she said softly. I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything." I nodded. "I hope she's doing better. She's working on herself," her mom said, choosing her words carefully. "She knows she messed up. The whole testing people's love thing, I don't know where she learned that." "It's over now," I said gently. "I've moved on." She patted my arm. "You're a good man. She had a good thing." I corrected with a small smile. Driving home that day, it hit me. I wasn't angry anymore. Not at Emily. Not at Tyler. Not even at myself for staying so long. I was grateful. Grateful she showed me who she really was before I signed marriage papers. Grateful I learned the lesson now instead of 10 years into a miserable marriage. And the lesson? Simple. If someone truly loves you, they don't test you by threatening to leave. They don't gaslight you into thinking your boundaries are insecurity. They don't dismiss your feelings, laugh in your face, and tell you to deal with it. Real love respects. Real love listens. Real love stays. Looking back, calling off the wedding was the best decision I've ever made. It cost me $8,000 in deposits, worth every penny for the peace that followed. These days I cook more. I hit personal records at the gym. I spend time with people who actually value me. And every time I walk past my couch, free of decorative throw pillows that were impossible to sit on, I smile. Because peace isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's just there. And that's all I ever wanted.